I've been selling stock options for 10 years, and in that time frame, I've only been assigned 4 times. And each of those assignments, I have made money every single time. And I realize this might feel impossible, but it's not. It's all about the structure, how you set this up. If you don't have a base portfolio, if your ratios are completely out of whack when you're selling options, if you don't factor in valuations, if you don't factor in the right expiration dates or the right strike prices, you're never going to make money by doing this stuff in the long term. So even if this portfolio falls 30, 40, even 50%, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about taking assignment because I know that how I'm setting this up, even if I do get assigned, I'm still likely to make money in the long term. So let's break it down. So the first thing we have to do in order to unlock this option strategy is to build your base portfolio, build the foundation of your account. Because if you don't have the foundation, when the market goes down and when we experience a lot of volatility, you're going to get crushed. And this is where many people go wrong. Let's look at my Charles Schwab account right now to see what this base portfolio looks like. Okay, so inside that account, you can see I have roughly $370,000 in the NASDAQ, which is ticker triple Q. $342,000 in the S&P 500 VOO, some Tesla, some TSM, and there's a list of various other individual companies I have right here. So I use that base portfolio as collateral to sell options and keep my ratios in check so that no matter what volatility we get in the market, I'm going to be just fine. Okay, so you get all that. But now let's set it up in the trade ticket on Charles Schwab. No matter what broker you're using, it's not going to matter. But I'm going to show you how to set this up for the first leg of the trade. And then if we sell the options and they happen to go into money and we get assigned the shares, I'm going to show you how you could theoretically never lose money on these contracts right here. Let's take a look. Triple Q, what is our strategy going to be? We're going to go put option like we talked about before. We're going to sell it to open. We're going to do one contract. And let's say that we're going to go 1 year out. So we're going to go to February. We'll go to January 2027. That's fine. Okay. January 2027. We're going to sell the $600 strike price put. We're going to pick up, we'll just keep the numbers simple here, $40 a share in premium. And our break even is going to be roughly $560. You're just subtracting this from this, and that's how we come up to that number. Okay, so we get this set up, but let's take a look at this on the chart so that we could visually understand how we're never going to lose money on this contract right here. Okay, this is a chart of the NASDAQ going back till 2024. It doesn't really matter looking backwards. What matters is what's going forward. This line right here corresponds to the earnings per share growth line. These are my estimates of where I think the earnings per share is going to grow at of the NASDAQ in the long term. I think it's going to be somewhere around 10 to 15%. You could also take a look if we do this on a percentage basis. This is beginning of 2027 to the end of 2027. This shows you 13%, just so you really understand how all these percentages make sense. So I'm going to delete that line right there. And what we're going to do is plot our strike price of this first option contract that we set up. 115 of 2027, a $600 strike price. Okay, 115 of 2027, and we're going to go on the right hand side to a $600 strike price. 115. We're pretty close right here. 111. This is as close as we're going to be able to get. It doesn't really matter. Okay, this is our strike price. When we sell the put option, the current share price on the right is 608 per share. Our goal is to have this sold put not go in the money and not get assigned, right? Like that's the whole objective here. Sell puts, collect the cash flow, and then reinvest it back in the base portfolio, or you could withdraw it and go spend it to fund your lifestyle, whatever you want to do. But obviously the money's better invested because again, rule number one of selling put options is this: the stock or the ETF has to be undervalued. So when you sell the put and generate this cash flow, it would probably make sense to buy the dip on whatever you're selling puts on because we often sell puts when things are on a dip, when they're discounted, when they're undervalued. You want to have that money reinvested back in so that you can make money on the cash flow too that you're reinvesting. Okay, so let's take a look at the chart right here. You can notice that the NASDAQ right now is a little bit of ways above the earnings per share growth line. It's a little bit expensive. So does it fail rule number one to go sell put options right now? In my opinion, yes. But even if you were to go sell put options right now, with the NASDAQ being a little bit expensive, I'm still going to prove to you how you're not going to lose money if you do it right now. Follow me on this. So this is a strike price right here. We talked about strike price and expiration date. If we do this on a percentage basis, how much would the share price have to fall from right now to the strike price until it goes in the money technically? It's 1.5%. But also think about this. Remember we pick up that cash flow, that premium no matter what of $42 per share. 600 minus 42 is going to be $558 for your break even. So where's our break even at on a percentage basis from the current share price? $558. We're going to go on the right hand side to 558, same expiration date right there. So the stock could roughly fall 8% until you start losing money on this option contract. But hey, What if you're unlucky? What if you happen to sell the put when a market's a little bit expensive, you messed up, but you still want to go do the trade or whatever you want to do? And then it tanks, and then you go in the money below this horizontal line right here, which corresponds to the strike price. Then what do? I'm going to clean this up a little bit so it's easier to see. This line right here, again, is your strike price. The share price goes down, and down more, and down even more. And now you're a couple months from the expiration date, and you're worrying that maybe you're going to get early assigned. Or maybe you have to go on vacation and you can't monitor this. Or maybe you're just scared, you just don't want to deal with it anymore. You have a couple options. You could either realize the loss or you could roll the contract. In the example right here, how we're never going to lose money, I'm going to show you how to roll these contracts the proper way, the way that actually works, where you could write it down on your taxes, get the technical tax loss, but still be in basically the same trade and then make money with it. So you're going to make money with it, realize a tax loss to lower your taxes, and still do fine in the long term. Okay, follow me on this. So before we do that, you have to understand this right here. Earnings per share is going up and to the right on the NASDAQ on that chart right there. As the earnings per share goes up and to the right, the stock is going to follow that in the long term is a keyword, not in the short term. The short term is going to be very, very bumpy. You can see right here, market's a little bit above, goes below, goes above, goes below. This line, just think of it as like a magnet in the long term, but this dictates where the stock or ETF is going to go. So if we look at where the earnings per share line is at versus where your strike price is at, take a look at this right here. The strike price is roughly 6% below the money, and then your break even, remember, $558. $558 going all the way down to right here is going to be your break even. Your break even is 13% below the earnings per share growth line, and your actual strike price is 6.8% below. The reason why we care about that is because the farther you get away from the earnings per share growth line, the more likely that stock or ETF is to rebound up, do reversion to the mean, meaning it's just going to follow the earnings per share growth line up and to the right in the long term, of course, if it goes up and to the right, and you're going to be fine. So the farther you get below, the safer something becomes. And I know so many investors that when their stocks are falling and they're going down, 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 they're getting nervous and they want to sell and they want to panic and get out and trim their losses. But you're selling and closing out of these contracts at the worst possible time. Things are becoming cheaper. They're becoming safer. It's way better when things are falling to actually allocate even more to good companies at good prices. So how do we do the roll correctly? So let's say that we're sitting right here and we're going to do the roll. We're going to do this the right way, okay? We're going to go out roughly one more year. So we're going to go until the end of 2027. We'll just say January of 2028, and we're going to set this up on Charles Schwab exactly how that roll is going to go down. Okay, so here's the setup, how to roll this properly right here. A lot of people mess this up. Let me walk you through it. So we're going to buy to close one contract. This is a contract right here. Because remember, how do we close out of any option contract? You want to get your quantity to zero. Here's an example of a trade that I have open right now on Meta. Sold the put, picked up $46,000 in cash flow, 5 contracts, all good. How do I get this to be closed out 100%? I'm minus 5, so in order to get to 0, I have to add 5, meaning I have to buy 5 to close the contract. So if we flip back to the big bad Charles Schwab trade ticket right here, I have to go buy that contract to close. It's very simple. Now, we buy it to close. We're going to buy it back for, we'll just go on the mid for everything. We're going to buy it back for roughly $42 per share is the per share premium we're paying to buy it back. 42 times one contract times 100 shares, because every contract is 100 shares, it's going to cost me roughly $4,200 to buy that contract back. All good. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell a new one to open, sell a new contract to open, but I'm going to pick the 1/21 of 2028 expiration date at a 570 strike, and I'm going to pick up $49 per share in premium. So I'm going to get a net credit, meaning I'm going to get paid more money to roll this contract down and out. Now, as long as you pick a different strike price or expiration date, you are going to be able to realize this trade right here as a loss. As long as you change the strike or the expiration date, the IRS will not deem that as significantly identical is a term that they use. I'm not trying to complicate this right here, but when you roll, obviously make sure you change the strike or the expiration date, and you're going to be cool on these option contracts because you could realize a loss, essentially still be in the same trade that you love, but you could write down your taxes a little bit for that year. So I'm going to get a net credit of $684. Now here's the thing that I need to click for you. This contract is safer for multiple reasons, and it's very likely that I'm never going to go in the money on this one right here. Let me explain. Is it safer at $600 a share or $570 per share? You buy something for a cheaper price, it's obviously safer. Is it safer in 2027 or safer in 2028? In my opinion, it's much safer in 2028 because you have more time for the earnings per share growth to expand. So now for the break even. Let's say we pick up roughly $50 per share by selling this contract right here. $50 minus 570 is going to be a $520 break even price right there. 520 break even, it's currently 608 and you're giving it 2 years total for the earnings per share to go up and to the right. Remember, when we're selling the put from the get-go, we have to feel like the underlying ETF or stock is undervalued. It's cheaper right here, a year out, a lower strike price. It's even cheaper right here, 2 years out at an even lower strike price. And I want to show you this on a chart just so this could kind of come together and click a little bit, because theoretically you could almost roll these contracts down and out forever. And this is different from a cover call, because when you're rolling a cover call up and out, you're being chased by this earnings per share line going up and to the right. But when you're rolling sold puts, you're moving in the opposite direction of the earnings per share growth line. Let me explain this for you right here. So remember, we're going to go out till 2028 and we're going to pick the $570 strike. 570 strike going down on the right hand side, 570 right there, and then 2028 is roughly right here. That's going to work. So if we take a look at where the current share price is at in relation to the new strike price, you can see that that's roughly a 6% drop. And you're like, well, the share price could easily go down 6% in 2 years. And you're right about that. But what is very, very different? Notice the distance right here between where the earnings per share growth line is at versus right here. And obviously versus right here, the market's a little bit expensive here. Now you're able to buy below intrinsic value, and now you're able to buy super de-duper below intrinsic value right here. So what is your percent of margin of safety right here to your strike price? Roughly 21%. So if you're going to get assigned shares right here and you go in the money at the 570 strike, you're basically taking assignment of shares that are roughly 21% undervalued. But it's not even stopping there. Where is your break even at? The break even is going to be $520 per share. Now you could see that your break even point is going to be a 27% drop from where the earnings per share growth line's at. Would you want to buy anything when it's 27% undervalued? I mean, I know that I would, and this kind of builds into why, spreads suck, because if I'm going to do a 2-year sold put, I'm never going to want to go buy a 2-year sold put under it as a spread, because I don't want to have the option to be able to sell my shares down here. That's what buying a put allows you to do. I want to be able to buy more shares down here, and that is what a sold put allows you to do. So you can clearly see the trend. With time, earnings per share is going up and to the right. The more time that you give it for earnings per share to go up and to the right, the more likely the stock's going to bounce above and below that. In the short term, yes, it's going to be very bumpy. A lot of the short-term market movements are very random. They don't always make sense. But the more time that you give this, you could theoretically roll this out again. I could roll this out one more time, go all the way out until the end of 2028, even into 2029 a little bit, and I'm going to go even lower. And then my strike price is going to be down here. My break even is going to be down here, and you could theoretically just roll this contract down and out forever. So what I'm proposing to do right now is this. If you simply buy the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ like I built in my account right there, you buy great companies at good prices and you plan to hold them for the long term. Then when things are ultra compelling, you go sell portfolio secured puts only when something is compelling. You take that cash flow and you go reinvest it back into the stock. You set up your ratios in a way so that if the market were to fall 50%, you're still going to be able to take assignment if you have to. And to be completely honest with you, I'm probably never going to take assignment of this stuff. I'm always just going to roll the contract down and out. But as long as you have a good company at a good price and earnings per share continues to go up and to the right, you are going to be just fine if you are patient with it. Like, guys, the stock market is going to be very volatile, go way down, go way up, go way down, go way up. But again, if you're patient, you enter somewhere below intrinsic value, you go a year or two out, you hold on to this stuff, you're going to do very well in the long term. The problem with most people is they don't know what they own, they don't know the why behind why they own it, and they have no clue as to the valuation level that they're buying it at. Like, what if the earnings per share growth line, I'll just plot a random line right here. What if the earnings per share growth line literally looked like this? And the line is all the way down here. And here you are selling puts on a company that's a bubble up here. Look at how much lower that company could fall just to get to intrinsic value. So that's why it's critical, another line right here, it's critical to only sell puts when you have a line like this top one right here, where the market's right here, the earnings per share growth line's up here, the market is viewed as undervalued or the individual company. So you have that margin of safety. Then you're going a year out for earnings per share to go up and to the right, and then you're going a strike price below the money with a break even lower than that, and you always have the ability to roll these contracts down and out theoretically forever. I don't like to push this too much because it's going to make people want to take on too much risk because Brandon said I can never lose money. Yes, you can lose money if you get a margin call, but if you keep your ratios in check to your foundation, your base portfolio, you are never going to be in a situation, even if the market falls 50%, that you are going to get a margin call. I love rolling contracts. I love realizing the tax loss. Like, look at this. You can literally realize the tax loss right here. Essentially be in the exact same trade, and you're writing your taxes down for that year. Who on earth wouldn't want to do that? Change the strike or the expiration date, you're good. So, hope you got value from this video. If you did, you have to watch this video right here. It's going to help you out a lot going deeper into this stock option strategy, and I'll see you guys there.